Welcome back to Builder Dads. I am Builder Dad Dan, and today I was scrolling through my camera log from 2018 and found a picture of this. This is a storage box that someone else used to put pine cones in for a holiday kind of decor. I saw this, liked it, and now I'm going to figure out how to make this. I think this would be a nice little project for the kids, and I think it will be fun to do. All right, so here's where we're going to start. I'm going to head off to my handy dandy Sketchup. I'm going to slide this over to my other monitor because I work in a shop where I've got two monitors in front of me. And so let's go pull this up into SketchUp and see how this goes. All right, so brief kind of reminder here for those who've been with me before and those who have not. I am using SketchUp. It is the 2020 Pro version of it. If you notice, I can change my angles pretty fast and good. It's because I like to use a 3D Connect Space Mouse. So as I go through this, I'll walk you through the process and how I'm going to go from absolutely nothing and a picture to something else. All right, so here's where we start off. I'm going to have this up on my other monitor so I can kind of glance at it in that picture. But just for a reminder, we've got this box here. And so it's got some really cool joinery to it. Let's see. So it's going to be roughly, I'm thinking this is about 5 inches with a baseline or with a base in it. It's got this little handle piece here. My guess is, looking at how this is put together, these here are hiding screw holes. Because if you look at the previous picture, let's scroll a picture over and you get this angle right here. See how I'm guessing this screws into here, and then these two screw into there, and that holds the whole box together. And then my big guess is this is here glued in on both those sides. And then on the bottom, I'm going to guess that there's going to be 2 screw holes down there. So I'm going to do a similar design to it, and maybe I'll change it up in the actual build. But this is where we're going to start. So let me go slide this again back over to the other monitor. Flip it up so I can see a picture of it, and I'm going to start drawing. So I am on my handy dandy pencil tool. I can select that on my tray over here on the left, or I can just hit the L line. I can hit L on my keyboard to set that to line. All right, so I'm going to come over here. I'm going to start off with a line. I'm going to make this. Should I make this 24 inches long? Should I make it 8 inches, 8 inches? Let's do 8 inches just to see what this looks like, because I can always mess with the design later. But I'm going to do 8 inches on each side, so I'm going to give it a total of 16 inches plus 3/4 in the middle, plus the sides. So do I want to do all that? Good questions, good questions. Always the first drawing line is going to be the biggest thing of what I'm going to do right here. But what I'm going to end up doing is we're going to do this, and we're going to say, let's make it 16. I'm going to pull in with my mouse. Nope, too far. Here we go. All right, now let's start building a rectangle. So I'm going to go up on my blue axis. I went right on my red axis, and I'm going to make this, I'm going to do 3, 6, 9. Do I want to make it 9 inches tall? Pull my tape measure out so I can see that. Nope, that's going to be too much. Maybe. Let's do 5 inches tall. We're going to set this to 5 inches tall. Okay, so we're going to do 5 inches tall. drag this back over there, get the red axis. Yeah, that comes in and snaps in. Now it's going to drop me down on my blue axis, and there's my rectangle. So I'm going to go ahead, double click this whole thing here. It's going to highlight everything. I'm going to hit G, and it's going to make this into a component. And I'm going to call this side. All right, so now I've got a side. I'm going to make some quick decisions on this. I'm going to double click into here, and I'm going to say, I'm going to go back to my pencil tool, hitting L, and I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to say, I'm going to make this, let's see, I said this was 5 inches. So I want to make 5 into 3 equal parts. So it'd normally be 2, but it's not going to be 2. So let's do this. Let's do 1.5. I'm just going to snap a line here at 1.5. And then I'm going to do the same thing coming up, 1.5. All right, so here's why I'm doing this. I'm going to put 2 lines in here. If I go and hit T, I go to the tape measure. And right there, it's going to tell me 2 inches. So I'm going to make the centerpiece of this 2 inches. Well, I could come up and make this equal distance. So what did I say this was? This was... maybe here, if I come and I bring this up a little bit. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to back this line off really quick here. I'm going to bring this up to, that shows my endpoint there. I'm going to drop this up here and say 1 3/4. So I'm typing that out on my number keypad. There's my 1 3/4 line. So I'm going to snap that in at 1 3/4. Go ahead and hit T and then double check that. I got 1 3/4 there. Now my top one is not 1 3/4. It's going to be 1 1/2. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring that up 1/4 inch when I'm all done with the push pull tool. So right here I've got this. Looking at the design, it's at least 3/4 of an inch in because of the board. So I'm going to do, plus it's got a little bit of an overhang. So it looks like it's about 1 inch back. So let's go ahead and we're going to go back to the line tool. Actually, we're going to go to tape tool, and I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to type in 1 inch, and it's going to mark me a line right there. I'm going to go do the same thing over here, 1 inch, and I'm going to go ahead and put a line down there. I'll put a line down there. Okay, and I'm going to go back to my erase tool. Oops, too much. Select. Let me push it on that. Come on. I just want to find. Well, that's no fun. Well, you know what? I was being tricky, and I'm going to just Control Z and back all that out real quick. Go back to the line tool, and I'm going to come back out here, do 1, and come down to that. Like I always say, part of the fun of this, I'm going to do that same thing over here with a 1. Bring that in 1 inch. Part of the fun of this is the fact that when you mess up, you can just Control Z and come back right at it. I always find that I learn more by screwing up than I do actually doing it perfect the first time every time. So here, I'm going to go ahead and delete those out. And that's going to give me my little cutout on the side here. One more thing I'm going to end up doing is I'm just going to drop a line in here real quick. And do the same thing over here. Actually, I don't want to do it like that. I didn't want to do that like that. What I want to do is go find the midpoint. This is going to be 1 3/4. So a midpoint of 1 3/4 is going to be 1/2 inch and 3/8. So a 1/2 inch is going to be 4/8 plus 3/8. So I'm going to go 7/8 up. It's going to be my half point. So I'm going to go to 7/8. Right. Here I'm going to go 7/8. And so 7/8. Nope, it's on my green axis. I want up and down on my blue. 7/8. There we go. Hit escape to get out of that. I'm going to go down here and do 7/8 again. And then I'm going to hit escape, get out of there, and I'm going to go back up 7/8. If I don't hit escape or hit spacebar, it's going to continue to put me into that. If I hit spacebar, go back to the arrow tool. That's why I was hitting escape, because I still wanted to be in the line tool. All right, so here we go. Oops. Somehow I dropped that out. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm here. This is my midpoint. I kind of like the thought of doing raised squares of a different color. So this might become like a walnut and maple combination maybe. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stick right at this center point, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a square to cover this up a little bit. And so I'm going to do, thinking this through real quick, how big of a square I want to make. I can do this with what? Do this with a chisel. I could do this with a mortising machine. I could do this as just a dowel. But I kind of like this squared look that they've got going here. So let's do this. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do a 3/4 by 3/4 square. So I'm just going to come up here real quick, and I'm going to say 3/8. 3/4. Nope, too big. I don't like that. That's too much. If I did this. Let me think. Coming back at this. Don't mind me as I look at this picture. I'm going to scroll this over here so you can see it. So this picture right here, we've got this. It's kind of in line with that. But 3/4 is going to be huge. Let's do a 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. Let's do a 1/2 inch. See what a 1/2 inch is going to look like. So from here, this is the midpoint. So I'm going to come up 1/4 inch. Actually, what I'm going to do is this is the midpoint. And so I'm going to come in 3/8 because this board is going to be right here down this line, right? So I'm going to do this and come in here 3/8. I hit escape to go back over here, go 3/8 there, hit escape there, gonna go back over here, 3/8, gonna hit escape there. And you know what, I'm gonna get rid of some lines really quick. I'm gonna hit E to go to my eraser tool. I'm gonna go ahead and drop some of this stuff out of here. And the reason why I'm gonna do this will hopefully be apparent in a second. All right, so there's the center of my square. There's the center of everything. So the center of my square. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go up 1/4 of an inch from the center of my square. I'm going to go back over here 1/4 of an inch, and then come down here 0.5. I'm going to go back over here 0.5, roll up to this 0.5, and there we go. And that's kind of how I'm doing it. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to roll down here to, on the blue axis, 1/4. I'm going to slide over here 1/4. I'm going to go up here on the blue axis again. Come on. Hit up to go do the blue axis for me. And I'm going to put 0.5. I'm going to roll over here 0.5. 1/2 inch there. And we connect. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the eraser tool, clean out these lines. Okay. Do the same thing over here. I'm going to go from the middle down 1/4 of an inch. I'll go 1/4 of an inch there. Ooh. Okay, 1/4 of an inch. We're gonna go 1/4 of an inch. Up 1/2 inch. Cool. Sketchup is remembering what I want to do. 0.5. 0.5. Done. Okay, eraser tool. Good. Okay. Now, let's do this one more time. Okay, we're going to go do up here. We're going to go to a line. We're going to go L to do that line. We're going to do 1/4 of an inch. We're going to do 1/4 of an inch again. We're going to come back up to the top. We're going to do 0.5. It's kind of cool because I can flip between easy fractions and easy decimal points. It's not till I get into the 1/64ths, the 1/8 and stuff like that. I forget 1/60. It's what, 0.3. I'd have to do the math. 0.3 something. 0.38. 0.375. Something like that. What is it? Yeah. It is a trusty dusty calculator. 1/8. 1.25. Oh my gosh, I was way off. Oof. Okay. All right, now we're here. And so what do I want to do again? I'm going to be kind of cool. And I'm just going to mark the center of this, because even though I'm going to take some of it out, I do want to know the center point. I'm going to go in here, do this again, do that again. Put my X marks the spot. A pirate. Okay. And then I know I need a screw for that. So I'm going to do... Oh, what is my screw head? A number 8 screw is... Let's figure that out really quick. Okay, I ducked off camera for a second and grabbed out my handy dandy calipers and a number 8 screw, and I figured out that the head of the screw is about 5/16 and the shaft is 5/64. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit of fun here. I'm going to go ahead, zoom in a little bit on this. Oops, I'm going to come and make this smooth. And here we go. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw my first circle for this, which is going to be 5/16. And the easy way to do this is I can say, instead of 5/16, because that's the entire diameter, I need to put in just the radius. So 5/32 gives me my circle. I'm going to come up here, do the same thing. 5/32. Five 30 and 5/30. All right, cool. I've got that done. All right, so now there's some lines I'm gonna have to delete here because I got a little bit. So I'm gonna hit the eraser tool, come in here and snap right there in the center, and I'll take those out. Now those are gone. What I'm gonna do here is I need to pull this side panel out so I can kind of add these things in, do a little kind of fun there, funkiness. So we're gonna have a little bit of fun with this drawing and design. Okay, so I hit my eraser tool to do this, kind of going around, deleting some stuff out of here. All right. And the cat says hi. Hey, Trixie, what's up, girl? Yeah. Trixie's hanging out in the office. Yes, Trixie. Hi, Trixie. Hold on while I give her a pet. All right. You happy? Nope. Never is. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and start push-pulling this a little bit here. We're going to do this with a 1/4 inch out this way, and the reason for that is because then I can have a 1/4 inch hole to recess the plug in here that I'm going to use to hide these screw holes. And then on the back side here, I'm going to push and pull again, and I'm going to go ahead and make this 0.5. All right, so now I've got my face here. I got all that. So now what I have to do is come in here, and I'm going to go ahead and click that, and I'm going to offset that to the whole thing there. If you look in there, oop, that's not what I wanted to do. Back up one. Should know better than that. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop a line across this. Oop, not to the inside of that. I'm going to drop a line to the exterior. Boom, there we go. All right. So now what I can do is I want to keep this, and I don't want to show it there. So I'm just going to go ahead and erase all this outside geometry. If you want to see this, what it looks like, I use an Alt key, Control R for X-ray. As you can kind of see, I've got some of that internal geometry hidden in there. I'm going to go ahead and pop that out because I don't want that. This would be, while it doesn't matter when I'm doing a 3D model, it does matter if I was doing or a 3D model for woodworking. It does matter if I was doing this 3D model for printing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that same similar stuff here real quick. I'm just going to drop a line in here just to close that out. Go back to my eraser tool and go ahead and nix these lines out really quick here. Spin with my space mouse. There we go. Good to go. All right. So I got that one. That one looks good. Now, there's a million ways to do all this stuff. Maybe not a million. That's an exaggeration. But there's a lot of different ways to do things when you're talking about 3D modeling and things like that. My way is not the best way. It's my way. And that's why I like it. So the same way, you have your own style at certain things. I've got my style the way I do this. I like to write software. And when I write my software, I always tell people, don't do exactly what I'm doing. Understand the concepts of what I'm doing and why I do it the way I do it. And then you figure out your own path. So here we go. Now the internal geometry looks really good. All right, so now we're gonna back out there. I'm gonna hit Control R because that is my hotkey to get me back to X-ray mode. All right, so I'm gonna do this right now. And I'm gonna remember how to do a shape like this. So I've got this circle there. This is just this. So now this isn't 3D printing. If it was 3D printing, I'd probably come in here, hit space. I'd probably clean this up a little bit right now. If you looked at the entity info on this, it's got 24 segments to line. Well, that doesn't look really clean. So probably 48 segments would look way better and make it more rounded. So when the 3D printer was printing this, it would look out really well. And you know what? Heck, I'm going to do that same thing though. Because even though it's not a model for 3D printing, I am really a creature of habit. And I really like doing things the same way over and over again because it enforces in me to do it the same way every time. It's why I always tell people when I do database code, I like to write out all the SQL by hand. And it's not because I'm a stickler for punishment. It's because I kind of really like learning it and making sure I know it. So here we go. Now we're going to play a little bit with the offset tool. So 5/64. Oh, 5/64. I got 5/16. So 5/16 is actually going to be 10/32, which is going to be 20/64. And so we're going to take, and we want to go to a shaft of 5/64. So it's going to be a difference of 15/64. Really quick scratch math paper on the side. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to use the offset tool. Click here and I'm going to move this circle in. And if you watch, there's 5. There's a lot more. because you can see in the distance in the bottom right hand corner where it kind of shows me that distance spanning and everything. I know what I want, so I'm going to type in 15/64. Where did that go? Why didn't that? 15. Why don't you like 15/64? Oh, it wouldn't be 15/64. Let's talk about messing up one more time. Okay, sorry, I undid and redid a little bit there. It's not 15/64, it's 15. Oh, it's 15/128. 15/128. Because I'm shooting for the radius. So 15/64 is way too big when my diameter is, that's the diameter that I'm shooting for is 5/64, right? So diameter 5/64. If I do the tape measure tool, I can kind of go find that. So which means that if I'm looking for 15/64, the easiest way to do that is to say, well, the radius is half the diameter. So I'm going to take and say 15/128. Here we go. So now I got that. Now what I can do is I can go and pull this whole thing out. Make it even with the face. So there's the screw shaft right there. And then the head of the screw is roughly 9/64 down. So what I can do here is I should be able to select this inner geometry, hit the move tool, and then I can move it within that on the green axis. So I'm going to hit left to go within the green axis, and then I'm going to move this 9/64 down. And there it goes and gives me my cone for my screw. There we go. That's how you do it. So we're going to repeat that 4 times. We might fast forward through it, but I'll show you at least one more time so you can see what I did there since I was talking my way through it. But okay, so I'm going to go to my offset tool. I'm going to take my offset tool. I'm going to click my circle, hit offset. I'm going to come in here 15/128 to get that shaft. I'm going to go ahead and select the face of that shaft or the face of that circle, and I'm going to make a shaft out of it by coming back here and referencing the back of the board's face. Then I can come in here. I can go ahead and hit the M for move tool, select that. I'm going to hit left on my arrow key to select the green axis. I'm going to push it back, and I'm going to say 9/64. And since I already hit 9/64, it kind of did it automatically for me. So we're going to go do that 2 more times. So this time what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to select this circle here. I'm going to do the offset. I'm going to go 15/128. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to do the same thing again. 15/128. Done. Okay. Gonna go select my face frame or my face of that circle. Push pull tool. Back here, get the back. All right, now I can go in here, find that, and I can just go do a quick double click, and it pulls that geometry out. Or it pushes that back to what the other one was this last time I hit it. So now I can go here, hit this circle, hit the M for the move tool, and I'm gonna go back a little bit, hit the green, and I'm gonna move back 9/64. SketchUp is remembering me. Thank you, SketchUp. Thank you, SketchUp, for remembering my last dimension that I wanted. All right, green axis. Come on, SketchUp, 9/64. You remember me? Good, good, good. All right, Fantastic. All right, so now I've got this side panel. I've got my screw holes done. I've got my screw holes done. I've got my squares in. So now this looks really cool. All right, so I've got my side there. Now, let's go add some more stuff to this. So, just flipping this around as I think. So, we've got a couple choices here. I can either cut the other one in with the dado. I could just cut a piece of board and put some Craig screws in the bottom. Do a couple different things. For drawing's sake right now, I'm just going to go ahead and draw it. And then I'm going to figure out the joinery later. And then I'll have to put it back in. And don't mind me as I make you sick because I'm spinning this around. All right, so now we've got 6 inches this way. I'm gonna go back, pull my drawing up here. And so if I look at this, not 6 inches. I've got 5 inches tall. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make this wide by, I'm gonna do 5 inches on the width. Let's see what this looks like with 5 inches on the width. So I'm gonna come in here. I'm just going to pull this back up a little bit because I want to look at it. It's a really simple design, really cool. I like it. It's elegant. Everything kind of lines up. It's just a little bit lower. So there's some stuff going on there. It's all good. We'll play with this just a tad. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to go right here on this line. I'm going to go snap this in. I'm going to come over here 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to come up 3/4 of an inch. There we go. And then, somehow I didn't do that. Okay. So now I've got this 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to hit G, and I'm going to, the other one was the side. So, I guess this is a side as well. So we're going to call this side B. I should have called the first one side A, but I can go back and rename it in a second. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and click this, double click in there to get all this done. I'm going to go ahead and pull out. I'm going to do 5 inches because I think that looks kind of nice. Okay, now the one thing I'm going to do is I kind of liked in that drawing how it kind of was off just a little bit. So I'm going to pull this top down 1/8 just to get an offset there. And I'm going to do the same thing here on the bottom, 1/8. Gives a little bit of kind of uniqueness there. The one thing I am going to do, though, is right here in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop into this, go back into my thing, make sure I'm selected on that face, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to draw this line here. I'm going to draw that line here. And the reason for that is because then I can grab this face of that, pull this back out, and we're going to pull this. If I pull it out there, it's 3/4, but I want to do 7/8, just a little bit extra right there. When I'm done, I'll probably end up rounding all this stuff over just a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, that'll look cool. Maybe a little more. Let's make it a little more proud. We're going to add an extra 1/8 to it. So we'll do a 1/4 inch out. Okay. So now we've got that. The only thing I need to do really quick here is I'm going to come back over this really fast. I'm going to drop a line over here. I'm going to drop a line over here. And the reason for it is then I can wrap this edge and repeat the same thing over here. Go ahead and pull this out. I'm going to pull this out instead of 7/8 like I did last time. I'm just going to do 1 inch, and that will get me where I want to be. Okay, now if we looked at this and I remembered the pictures, there was one right there in the middle. So we're going to repeat this piece here and put that right here in the center. Just to double check since I'm right here. Yeah, 1/4. Hey, look at that. I should have just thought about it that way. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and put an X here because I like doing X's because they mark the spot. They make life fun. Okay, so from here, we did last time a 1/2 inch out, right? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to come out from the center there, 0.25. I'm going to go up 0.25. Over here, 0.5, down here, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, there we go. All right, so now I got some extra stuff here. So we're gonna go ahead and delete that really quick. I'm gonna leave the X there for a second because I need to do that circle, and I was gonna do a circle that was a diameter of 5/16, so it's got a radius of 1030 seconds. Whoa, not right. Oh, 1030 seconds. Jeez. 530 seconds. Yeah, more like it, Dan. There you go. All right, so I got 530 seconds. All right, so now I'm gonna hit my eraser tool, go back there, dump these lines out because now I don't need them anymore. We're gonna repeat all those steps over again. This time we might do something different though. Okay. So now I've got this. Okay, so now I need to, I got this out the entire 3/4 of an inch. So we pushed this back 1/4 of an inch last time. So I'm gonna drop that back 1/4 of an inch. I'm gonna click my, oops, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go back one. I'm gonna click my circle and I'm gonna make that 48 to clean that up. Okay, now I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna click this face there. I'm gonna push that back 1/4 of an inch. Oops, 1/4 of an inch. Now I come back here, I'm gonna drop this level with that. All right. So now I've got this done like that. Here, 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 here. Good, 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 good. Okay. So now I can go to my offset. My offset was going to be 15, or sorry. Yeah, 15 1/28. Oops, forgot my fraction. 15 1/28. Okay, so now I can take this and I can push this back out and make this even with my face. There goes my bolt hole. And then I can go here, click this one right here. I can hit move. Something not quite right. Let's go Control R and just look at this internal geometry really quick here. Oh, yeah, look at that. That's off just a tad. Well, something's wrong there. Let's go ahead and back this out. I'm gonna just dump this circle. Control R. When in doubt, just redo it. Easy enough to do. Because I can just go ahead here and I can just drop a line in there. I can drop a line in there. I can go hit C for my circle. I can go back over here and I can make a circle that is going to be 5:30 seconds. There we go. I can go to my erase tool and dump all that back out. And for whatever reason, that circle just wasn't right. So here we go. Now click on this. I can turn my segments into 48. There we go. That looks way better. Oh, I remember last time we did this. I'll have to rewind the video, but I'm pretty sure it said 28. So I think my segments were messed up. All right, so now I can go to offset. Now I can come in, oops. Now I can go to my offset. So let's select the line, offset this, and I can roll this. Nope. There we go. I don't know why that wasn't working right. 15, 1/28. Done. Select this face, push this back out, make this equal to that face frame. There we go. Select that. Now let's see if this does it. Move tool. We're gonna move this on the, yeah, there we go, on the red axis. And we're gonna go back, what do we say, 9/64. Here we go. And we got that screw hole there. And we just need to go duplicate the same thing over here. So here, I'm gonna go ahead just and drop a 1/4 inch, because I knew I came out 1/4 inch. Drop this in here, and then that way, oops, 1/4 inch all the way to the bottom. Now I can go ahead and put my X in there. There we go. Now I can erase that line. I don't need it anymore. Come right from the center there. I'm going to go 1/4 of an inch out on the green. So I can hit left to go on my green axis. Go 1/4 inch out. I'm going to go up on my blue axis. 0.25. I'm going to come over this way on my green axis. Hit left on my arrow key to do that again. Hit 0.5. I'm going to come down here on my blue axis. Hit 0.5. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to make that 0.5 and plug that all in, and here we go. Now I can hit erase, 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 erase. That was all done using the erase tool, which I hit by going to erase that whole thing. I hit that erase tool by clicking the E. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and pull this in. Why don't you want to pull in? Unselect that. All right, now grab this face. Oh, I messed up. Check it out. Here's how I messed up. See how that's not even part of that geometry? At some point while I was drawing this, I was not in this component anymore. All right, so let's do it again. 1/4 inch down, up to that corner, over there. Erase that out. If I click out of this really quick here, there should be a line right. Oop, shoot. There should be a line right there. Delete that out. All right, now my extra line's gone that I accidentally put in the first time. So I'm gonna double click my component again. I'm back into it. All right, now I'm gonna do that whole process again. So I'm gonna go 0.25 up. I'm gonna go blue axis 0.25. I'm gonna come over here on my green axis 0.5. Come down here on my blue axis 0.5. Back over here 0.5. Join it all together. Erase out all this geometry. Okay, now I can take this and I can walk this backwards 0.25 to make it equal distance to the other one. I'm going to come in here really quick. Push in with my space mouse. There we go. If I was not using a space mouse, I could have used the hand tool to move up and down. I could use the orbit tool to spin around. So hand is H, orbit is O. I could use my wheel on my mouse pad or my mouse to go in and out. But again, I use that space mouse pretty regularly. My left hand is on it the whole time I'm drawing this. And I will not lie, I do not know what I would do without it because it makes me go faster. So I'm back in here. I drew my X there. I'm going to go ahead and draw my 5 30-second circle. I'm going to go ahead and come back into this one more time. I'm going to hit X there, well, not X. I hit E for erase, and I'm going to go delete all that extra stuff. Click this circle, change its segments geometry to 48. Now I've got a circle that matches everywhere else. Going to click that again, hit the offset tool, come in here with the offset tool. I'm going to hit 15 1/28 to hit that again one more time for me. Go ahead and select that. I'm going to hit the P for the push-pull tool. Come in here, and I'm going to make that equal to the face. And then right here, we're going to go back at this again and click this circle. And now I'm going to hit the M for the move tool. And I'm going to go ahead and mark that on the red axis by going R, or right on my arrow key. And I'm going to do 9/64. And there we go. Now I've got two components that draw all that together. The only thing that I've got that's weird is that line right there. I'm going to hit E for erase. Erase, erase, erase. Done. Now I got that. Cool, cool. There's a line right there. I'm going to dump that too. All right. Now I got some fun geometry there. All right. So where we're at is we've been at this for 45 minutes. 45 minutes has produced us a side with a bunch of joinery for us, so we can put some screws in there to hold us all together. We've got one side A done. And that's why we're talking about that. We're going to go back in this components section right here, and I'm going to hide out the materials, go to the components, and I'm going to go ahead and call this side A. So we got side A and we got side B. Okay, so we've got all that. Now the only thing we need, oops, other than we've got an extra line right here that I added in at some point. That I need to delete. All right, hit the delete key to get rid of that. Okay. Spin it around real quick. Looks good. All right. So we're going to add a bottom to this really fast. So what we can do is, well, you know what? We're not going to add the bottom to this really fast. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add these sides. So I'm going to go ahead and select this component. I am going to move it. And when I'm moving it, if I hit Control, it duplicates it. And so I'm just going to move it back here. I'm going to go on the green axis. And if I remember right, this was 5. Nope. No, it was 6. Was it 6? It was 6. But can always grab it right in that geometry. Hit Control. Move it back. Snap it right there. There we go. Now that looks backwards, right? That's not cool. So I've hit spacebar and then I right click. I can say flip along the green axis, and there we go. Now I do the same thing on this side over here, but I'm going to flip this on the red axis. So I'm going to go ahead and move this. I'm going to go hit the move tool after I've selected it. I'm going to go ahead and pull this back. The reason why I popped it in that corner right there is because then I can snap it right to that corner right there. I'll go ahead and select this, right click, flip along the red axis, and there we go. Now I've got these two pieces that look just like that, and I can very much be lazy. Come in here and I can say, draw a line there. Moving my space mouse gets me over there really fast. Line over this one. Rotate the space mouse up. Oh, sorry. Trying to get into it. There we go. Push in and come back over here. Hit there. Now I got a base. Yay! Okay. I'm going to double click that. Select it. Hit G for component. And I'm going to call this bottom. Simple enough, right? Come in here and I'm going to make this out of the same wood, right? So I'm going to double click this face of this one. Pull it up. 0.75. There we go. Now it's simple. I got a box that's built out of wood. Now all I need is a handle and the dead center. All right, let's do that. And then we could play around a little bit in very short order. I can make this look like an actual piece of something. So if I go here, hit my line tool, I can find the midpoint. And so I'm just going to strike a line down the middle. And then if I come here, I should be able to do the same thing. Strike a line right down the middle. I know that I'm going to use a 3/4 inch board, right? So I can easily do this. I can come off this line and I'm going to do a 3/8 line there. I can do a 3/8 line that way. And if I do this, I can come back over here, draw that, do 3/4 there. Now I said, if you watch this, it's the same way I did that square down below, except now I got that. If I go here and hit the E for the erase tool, I'm going to dump this line, this line, this line, this line. All right, so now I can double click that, hit G to make that a component, and I'm going to call this handle. Okay. So if we come up here and we go back to that cool picture we had, this, oops, zooming in too far. This looks pretty cool here. So we'll use probably to cut that out, probably a jigsaw to cut that out. Or what I'll use is a Forstner bit here and a Forstner bit here, and then jigsaw in between it. Okay. And then that will give me that, or you could use like a big hole. I'm going to do a 3/4 inch for this handle just because I can use a 3/4 inch Forstner for it. This overlaps just a little bit on this right here. So if we scroll back just a tad, I wonder if it shows better in one of the other pictures. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Wrong direction. There we go. Okay, so it overlaps halfway. All right, so I'm going to come up here. I'm going to say, go back to this picture real quick here. I'm going to say, venture guess that this comes out 3 inches. So let's take this and, we're drawing it so we can get an idea what this is going to look like. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to say at the face of this is 4 1/8. So I'm going to call this 7. Just for giggles, I'm gonna call that 7 right there. Yeah, that'll look pretty cool. I'm gonna come back in here real quick. I'm gonna hit line tool. And we're gonna cut out some stuff here, right? So now what we could always do is, if you looked in this, it doesn't look like that was cut out. That just looks like this side had this cutout piece. And these were kind of just there. I could dado this whole thing, right? And I could put a line down the middle, doing that. So I could fit the handle in. We're just going to draw it without. So I put these 2 lines in there, and I'm going to go ahead and push pull this. It should just push pull over that line. I'm going to go 3/8 of an inch to come over the top of that. Do the same thing over here, 3/8 of an inch. Now we got that there. We got that there. I will most likely round every corner over if I make this, but what I can do now is I can say, is that too tall? No, that's not too tall. All right, so what we're gonna do here is, look at this again. I'm gonna give it about 1 inch. So I'm gonna come here from the middle, come right down from the midpoint, go 1 inch down. That seems like too much. Is it too much? Let's back that up. We're going to Control Z to get rid of that. Oops, I'm on the other side's midpoint. I want this midpoint. All right, 0.75, down 0.75. I'm going to roll this over here and see what I got here. This is 2 7/8. I'm going to come back. You know what? I'm going to come back. What does this look like? I'm going to go a little bit more than that. come back here and do 2.25. Let's see what 2.25 looks like. And we're going to make this, you know what? Let's make it an inch. We're going to make it an inch deep. I got an inch Forstner bit to use. So right here, and then we're going to come over here. What do we do that at? That was 2 1/4, 2 1/4, 2.25. Oops, 2.25. Up here, there we go, right there. Okay, now we got this box. So we've got a box right here. What are we going to do with this box? Well, I'm going to go ahead and round this out 1/8 of an inch just for looks, just so it kind of looks like what I'm going to end up doing. So I'm going to drop 1/8 of an inch this way and this way. Come up here, do 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to hit all these corners with 1/8 of an inch. Type in my 1/8 inch. Whoops. What didn't that do for me? 1/8 inch. And up. Okay, now I got these little squares here. Now here's why I did this. I'm going to push it on this again. And I'm going to hit this arc. Okay. Come over here. I'm going to draw this down this line here and draw it up to there. I go ahead and do the same thing over here. And this is just for looks. Ultimately, the Forstner is going to do something different. It's going to be rounded this whole way. Oh, actually, I could have done it that way too. You know what? So this is drawing it like this with these little corners nibbed off here. I said I was going to do this with 1 inch Forstner bit. So if I'm going to do it with 1 inch Forstner bit, I should do it like it's 1 inch Forstner bit. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to drop down. Actually, I can just do this from the midpoint. I'm going to go midpoint here, go 0.5 in. Here we go. I can do the same thing over here. Midpoint in, 0.5. Okay, now do that arc tool. Right there on that line. Boom. Do that same thing there. Pick that up. And that will give me my Forstner. Okay. It's going to be 12. Can I get 24 segments out of that? Hey, I can. It's a beautiful day. 24 segments. We're going to call this one 24 segments. I'm hitting tab to come off this just so you know what I'm doing. So I'm typing in 24 and then I'm hitting tab. All right, there we go. Now I can come back here to the eraser tool. I can erase, 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 erase. And I can erase that line too. And I can go ahead and click on that, push, pull this out. And I can make that even with that. Now the only thing I got to do is I had that line right there in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and erase that, and now that's gone. Ooh, now I got a little handle there. All right, just for aesthetics here, let's go ahead and, you know, let's round this over just because we're here. So I'm going to come down here. We're going to do 0.5. Let's do 1/4. All right, so we're going to do that 0.25. And let's just look at what this looks like with a 1/4 round over on this edge. Let's make it match. Okay, I'm going to go back here. I had my line in there for 1/2 inch. I'm I'm gonna go ahead and put this in at 1/2 inch, 0.5. Now I'm gonna go back to my tool there and round that over. And then I remember that I could do a 24 inch. Okay. And I can go click on this and I can say push pull. Boom. And that's gone. I can come back over here, erase that line, come back onto this side here. I'm gonna say, line, push pull, 0.5, and I'm gonna go ahead, click this right here, do that right there. There we go. So I drew the line, I did the arc tool. I'm gonna make the segments 24, so just the same thing I did on the last side. And I'm gonna hit erase, go ahead, click that, push pull this, boom, back to the face, that's gone. And now I have a box. So the only thing I have left to do is really draw in some covers for this. So let's do this. These will be a little deeper because I'm going to glue these in when it's all done, but I can go ahead and for giggles, and draw that in right there. I'll go ahead and pull this out. I'm going to pull this out 1/8. And then what I'll probably end up doing is I'll sand these corners all down when I actually build this out. But here we go. Now I've got this little thing here. Actually, what I should have done is Control Z this, double click this, and I'm gonna call this G. I'm gonna call this plug because it's a plug. I'm gonna double click that thing right there, click that out, pull this out 1/8 of an inch. There we go. Now I've got my plug. So I can click this and let's go do it like this. I'm gonna hit Control. Okay. Now if I can hit Control, space bar to select your tool, select them both. I'm gonna hit Move tool. I'm gonna grab this angle right here, slide this over, hit Control to copy it, and there we go. Okay. Now I've got those plugs in there. No, I can just go select, select, select. If I would have made it part of the other component, that would have made my life easier. I did not. Whoops. Okay, I'm gonna go back on the green axis. I'm gonna go all the way back here, and then I'm gonna snap that in right there. That's good. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert a plug. I'm gonna click it right there. And then I want to spin it this way. There we go. Because I'm on the move tool, I can spin it and rotate it like that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and grab this. I'm gonna click it right there. It's sticking out. All right, so now I'm gonna grab this over here, control that, click it right there. Okay, now if I go space bar, click that, I've got both of them now. I'm gonna go hit this angle right there. I'm gonna move this down, control, and there we go. Now I've got a box. Oops. Z, Control Z. I did something wrong. Did you see what I did? I saw what I did. I did not hit Control to copy it. But now I did. There we go. All right. So we've got all that done, and now we have a box that looks like a box, and it's pretty darn close. pretty darn close. I like it. Looks good. All right, one last thing that we're going to end up doing here. I am going to go on my other computer monitor, and I'm going to go pull up a model of something else I've done recently. And I'm going to go pull in this model right here. Maybe. And the reason for it is I've got maple, walnut, and cherry on this. And so I want to do this. And I'm going to say, I'm going to hit the B for the paint tool. I'm going to hit Alt to select the color. I'm going to come into here. I'm going to double click my plug here. I'm going to hit B for the paint tool again. I'm going to go ahead and click that. And I'm going to click these edges. And I'm going to give myself a walnut plug. And since I exposed this like this, I can go ahead and double click. I'm going to click this plug right here. I'm going to hit the bucket tool and I'm going to do the same thing. And now I got all my plugs done. Okay, so my plugs are all in. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is I want this horizontal maple. So I'm going to do my bucket tool again. I'm going to hit Alt to get to my sampler. Come in here and sample. Now I changed up all the textures on that, and so that'd be a different video, but I did all the textures to get them oriented in the right order, which is why I like that drawing. But now I go ahead and click this here. I'm going to go back to my bucket tool, click that there, click that there, click, 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 and click, click, and click. Now I got all that done. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here. Oops, I'm not going to hit my sample tool. I am going to go here real quick. And I'm going to double click this one real quick. Bucket. Pull up my paint. My paint bucket's up now. I'm going to hit that angle. Hit that angle, that angle. That. And my bottom's done. Okay. Now I'm going to go do my base. Okay, so I'm going to be orientating this board the same way still. So there we go. Now, if you notice, I'm not clicking all the extra geometry. I would pull these components out if I was going to draw this to see every little piece, but I did not. And actually, oops, I missed a piece right there. Bucket. Okay. Now, because, oops. There we go. I got all that geometry done and looking good. Ooh, looking snazzy. All right, so what I'm gonna end up doing here is this board is gonna be vertical. So I'm gonna go over here and snap the same board, but instead of rotating the texture and all that stuff, I'm just gonna go bucket and I'm gonna select it off this leg here because I already did it. So now I can come in here, double click this, and I can go bucket. There we go. There we go. Now we've got a maple and walnut plugged. Oops. Bucket. Alt to sample. Rotate this corner. Boom. There we go. That looks better. Okay. Now we've got it. Now I can go ahead and select that whole thing there and delete that out because I just wanted the colors. And oh man, I still missed that. Alt or bucket B. Oops, sorry. B for paint bucket, Alt to sample. I've sampled it. Now I'm going to go click again. There we go. What it was is I painted on the other side. All right. And there is my version of doing that. I'll probably round these out when I make it. I could round all these corners out and spend a lot more time on this drawing, but you now get a sense of exactly what it takes to do this. You get a kind of sense of what these things look like. You know, as I looked at that angle on that, I don't like that. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that back in. That was 1/8, so I'm going to do 1/16. I'm only going to raise that out just a little bit. Now that looks better. Okay. So now you get a sense of what it takes to draw this up and make this look the way it does. Oh, and then that's funny. See how these were done like this? It's because I need to flip this along the red axis, and then I need to pop these back that way. Okay, so then on this side here, those are all out in space again, right? So I need to click these because I dropped off 1/16. I didn't flip these, controlling to select them. I didn't flip those along the green axis last time, right? Flip along the green axis. And as a result, they're only as deep as the outside is showing them. These will be deep enough to plug in. So basically what's going to happen is I'm going to cut a plug that's bigger than this, right? I'm going to do this, and then I will sand it back a little bit so to make it look right. Or I'll cut it to the exact width of what I want, and then I'll just use a hammer to put it into place. But there we go. There's, oh, and there's one more angle I forgot. Man. We're going to go click on this real quick. B for the paint bucket, Alt to sample, and in here one more time. There we go. All right. And that is my example. I'll put these two things and do it side by side. We'll go ahead and up here on the view, drop the axis, and there you go. All done. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this journey with me as I made some mistakes, but ultimately figured out my way to get this drawn. Now I can actually go and add some measurements to this and things like that. I can go turn this into a project that I'm going to build. So there you go. If you want to see more, please click the like and subscribe button. Definitely like this video if you like it. Appreciate that. Any kind of support you provide helps fuel the passion and keep things going. So yeah, like, subscribe, check out more videos, and we'll talk to you next time. All right. From the Builder Dad shop, I am Builder Dad Dan. Thank you so much again, and have a great rest of your day.